In this lesson, we're going to talk about special right triangles. There are two types. There is a 45-45-90, and then there is a 30-60-90. So we're going to start with the 45-45-90. And if you notice, we have the same sides for the two legs. The hypotenuse is then just the leg times a radical 2. So we have kind of, depending upon what they give us, if they give us one leg, we know the other because they're the same. If they give us a leg and they want us to find the hypotenuse, then we just multiply by radical 2. And then what if they give us the hypotenuse and we want to find the leg? Then we would divide by radical 2. So let's try some examples. The first one, we have this leg is 9, so we know this leg is going to be 9. But we're trying to find the hypotenuse. So remember that if we're given a leg and we want to find the hypotenuse, we're going to multiply by radical 2. So times radical 2. So it would just be 9 radical 2 because we cannot multiply a non-radical with a radical, but we can just put them next to each other to show that multiplication. So again, given a leg, we want to find the hypotenuse, we're going to take it times radical 2. Well, this one already has a radical, so when we take 6 radical 2 times another radical 2, we can multiply those since they are both radicals. 2 times 2 is 4, and then we're going to simplify. The square root of 4 is a 2, and so 6 times 2 would be 12 for x. Now this one where we're going to work backwards, if you want to kind of think of it like that, where we're going to be dividing by a radical 2 to get the leg. So we're going to take 8, divide it by radical 2, but we can't leave our answer like that. We can't have a radical in the denominator spot. So this is, remember, when we're going to rationalize. Did this on our pre-9 lesson. And we're going to take and have 8 radical 2 over square root of 4, which you can go ahead and change to 2 already if you want. And then we're going to simplify vertically if possible. And then we're done. So each of these legs is a 4 radical 2. What if it's already a 2 radical 2 and I'm just dividing by a radical 2? So 2 radical 2 over radical 2 is just going to cancel, make it right, those radical 2's and leave us with 2. So here are a couple if you would like to pause the video and try these 3. The more you practice, the easier it's going to get, but you've got to put in the practice and use these as an example if you kind of need some assistance of what to do to find the part that you're looking for. So pause the video, try these 3, and then push play to check your answers when you're ready. So this would just be 5 radical 2 since we're multiplying by radical 2. This one we're dividing by radical 2, so you will have to rationalize. So 14 radical 2 over square root of 4, which turns into 14 radical 2 over 2, which is 7 radical 2. And then here, we're going to multiply by radical 2. And so it is 11 times square root of 2. And, whoops, it's already got a square root of 2. So 11 square root 4, which is 11 times 2, or 22. Now we're going to take a look at our 30, 60, 90. So this one does have 3 different sides, but they still all have a relationship to each other. So I like to call one side the short, one side the long side, and then of course the hypotenuse is itself. So short, long, and hypotenuse. So here are some of those relationships. The hypotenuse is double the short side. So if you're given the short side, you're just going to multiply by 2 to get the hypotenuse. Which we'll put hypotenuse there. If you're given the hypotenuse and you want to find the short side, then you just divide. Cut it in half. The long side's a little bit trickier. If you're given the long side, you're going to divide by a radical 3 to get your short side. But if you're given your short side, then you'll multiply by radical 3 to get your long side. So we're going to practice some of these here. So again, this is the short. If we want our short, our long, we're given our short. We'll go to our hypotenuse. It's double short and hypotenuse. So we're going to double or take and do 8 radical 3 over 3. Just doubling that first number. If we want to get our long side, that's when we multiply by a radical 3. Well, it already has a radical 3, so we are going to be multiplying those radicals together. So it is 4 square root 9 over 3, which ends up being 4 times 3 over 3, which is 12 over 3, which is 4. Starting off with kind of a tricky one. All right, so then long to short. So you can come back up here and you go, okay, they're giving me the long side. The short side, I'm going to divide by radical 3. So I'm going to take 12 and divide by radical 3, which I'm going to again have to rationalize. So 12 radical 3 over square root of 9, which is 3. So if you want to just go ahead and make that a 3. And then 12 over 3 is 4 radical 3. And now to go from short side to hypotenuse, I'm just going to multiply by 2 or double it. So doubling 4 radical 3 would make it an 8 radical 3. All right. Given the hypotenuse, we always go to the short side. We don't ever go to the long side from the hypotenuse if you look up above. Again, double half. So long segment here, 18, would be half here, 9. And then here's the one that we multiply by a radical 3. And then we can't actually multiply, so we just put them next to each other, and that's it for that one. So 3, we want to double if we're going to the hypotenuse, and we want to multiply by radical 3 for B. All right, your turn. So pause, try these 3 again. Use your rules up at the top there to assist you. So we have short, long, and then hypotenuse. Short, long side, hypotenuse. So try those 3 and then check when you're ready. Should have gotten 7 radical 3 and then doubling 14 for that one. Over here, we're going to go this direction, so we're going to actually divide by radical 3, do a little bit of rationalizing. So 15 radical 3 over 3, or 5 radical 3 for x, and then double it, so 10 radical 3 for y. And then this one, a little easier to divide by a radical 3, because you're just going to basically get rid of it. So it's 10, and then double it, 20 for your hypotenuse.